So today I think we'll continue on hmm, the contemplations of death. And then for anyone that's not sure what I'm doing exactly, I'm actually trying to follow um, the book, The Essential Nectar. It's Meditations on the Buddhist Path to Enlightenment by Geshe Rabten. Um, it's a book, and it's nicely laid out. So it's something if you want to do in your free time, you can also pick up the book, and I can put it into the chat at the end of the session, just if anyone's interested in it. Um, so I have good guides, you can say it that way. So just trying to follow the respected teachers' teachings. So we can start our session by preparing our mind for our meditation and calming the mind. And the mind and the body, they are connected. So we start with the body, trying to calm down the sensations, excitements, uh, the pains of the body, so that they don't become a distraction for us during our meditation. We're trying to make the body as comfortable as possible. We do our body scan check from the top of our head all the way down to our toes. Just checking our head, our facial muscles, our eyes, our ears, relaxing all of those, making sure our head's aligned on top of our neck and our spine and our back. Sometimes we check in, our head's too far forward and it's pulling our body, or maybe it's too far backward, or we're just trying to stretch out the whole torso. So we just want to find that balance. And just making sure our arms are gently hanging to the side of our body. We can bring our hands together with our right hand on top of our left hand, our thumbs touching. This is the mudra of concentration. And then all the way down to our hips and our legs, our knees, the lower leg, the feet, and the toes. Everything gently relaxed and aligned. Then we bring our attention to our breath. Maybe today we'll take 3 longer breaths at your pace. Just a deep inhale and a slow exhale. And let's observe the breath right at the abdomen, at the stomach. We watch the inhale, this whole abdomen cavity filling with air. And then when we exhale, it collapses, all the air exits. We just take a minute to observe this inhale, exhale, rising and falling of the abdomen. And then we bring to mind our motivation for the session today. So why are we here? Why are we meditating? We bring to mind the fact that we're in samsara. It's not perfect. In fact, sometimes it's miserable. And we want to find a way to overcome it. And we want to do this not just for ourselves, but for all of the humans, the insects, the cats, the dogs, the lions, the tigers, for all of them who develop our minds, the wisdom, realizing emptiness, to become enlightened, and to use this enlightened mind to help all of those sentient beings also become enlightened and free of the pain and the suffering of samsara. To do this, we contemplate all of the Lamrim teachings. And continuing on this topic of death, it's a, um, a complex topic. And we can think that my life is diminishing without interruption. And there's nothing that can be added to it. So this human life, it's made up of the result of past actions. So it's what we've done in the past, right? And now we have this human body, and there's not any way that we can make it a longer existence. Now, there are some of the tantric practices for long life, and those can help remove obstacles or things that might shorten one's life. But even those practices, they can't change um, the karmically determined span of our lives. So this life extension, hmm, that's we're very far from that. It's exactly the opposite, right? The time in this life is being used up, and it doesn't matter what you're doing, right? Whether you're working, you're playing, you're sleeping, it's gradually eroding away, second by second, hour by hour, day by day. So we can read historical accounts of people that lived in the past, right? Like um, Christopher Columbus, Napoleon, Copernicus, all these famous historical figures. And in these books, they describe exactly what they did, how they were raised, how they achieved their accomplishments, how they changed the world. But when we check, hmm, they're not there. They've already passed. And even today, with all the billions of people that are in the world, in 150 years' time, none of them will be there. So the Tibetans always like to use the example of the butter lamp. So from the moment it is lit, the fuel is exhausted without any pause at all. And then it approaches its end. And it's the same with our life, right? So from the moment of our conception, our life's being completely exhausted. And maybe at this moment, you know,
Hmm.
things are good. We're in a good situation. We have good food. We have nice clothes. We have pleasant surroundings. But even so, right, we're completely preoccupied with trying to get more so that we can be even happier. And the reason for this dissatisfaction that we have is the lack of recognizing our impermanence, the lack of recognizing our mortality. And if we can realize that, then this constant desire for even more pleasures mm, it will be abandoned almost instantaneously because those things will become insignificant. And it's hard to imagine this, but we can imagine that there's a man that's being led by soldiers and is walking the last mile to his execution. So we can imagine this, right? And during this walk, there's people that are offering him all sorts of things. So they're offering him flowers, good food. And these things, they're not going to cheer him up because he's completely absorbed into this thought of his imminent death. But we're just the same, right? So from this moment of conception, I've been just mm, racing like a race car towards the finish line, and I'm still doing it. And that finish line is the death of this body. But, at this present moment, we have somewhere to live. We have friends and relatives, possessions, our body. And if someone uh, injures our body, we feel ourselves been hurt. Mm. Yet all of these things, right? they're only ours for a while, and then soon again we'll separate from them. So we think, my house, my relatives, my car, my body. But this state where all of these things are ours is it's like a dream. It's like a dream that'll just pass on. So why be attached to them? Continually, the years, the months, the days, and the nights are going by. It's like if we imagine a large heap of grass. There's a big pile of grass, and there's one white mouse and there's one black mouse. And they each take one blade of the grass after another. So the white mouse being the days, and the black mouse being the nights. They keep taking blade after blade. And since this pile of grass, it's a finite amount. It's not everlasting, right? These little mice, they're working hard, removing the blades of grass, removing each one day and night. And eventually, they must all be used up. And just like this pile of grass, our life is just the same. It has a finite amount of time. So we can dedicate all the merits, all the good karma that we created during this meditation, contemplating the concept of death. And we can dedicate this to all the people that are not feeling well, that are sick, that have recently passed away. So may those that are sick recover. May those that have recently passed away have a good rebirth and navigate the bardo successfully and make it to a pure realm or back to a human rebirth. And we can contemplate that due to all the past, the present, future merits collected by me and all the merits of the 3 times collected by the Buddhas and the numberless sentient beings, which are completely empty of existing from their own side. May I, who am completely empty of existing from my own side, achieve the state of full enlightenment, which is completely empty of existing from its own side, and lead all sentient beings who are completely empty of existing from their own side to that state, which is completely empty of existing from its own side, by myself alone, who is completely empty of existing from my own side. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for this precious meditation.